the daughter has a problem with anxiety. And the anxiety particularly happens when changes take place in the family. And so what I was saying was, let's try to do this. Let's identify this for her so that she knows that when she finds herself in situations where change is happening, whether we're going out the door or we don't know what's going to happen because there's some spontaneous thing happening. It could happen at any place. You know, we're going to go on vacation and there's some change there. She gets anxious about those things. How are we going to change that inside of her to help her with that anxiety? Well, what we're going to do is we're first going to give her a plan. And when we give her a plan, that's going to be very important, giving a child a plan. We don't just change things before giving a plan. Say, here's what you can do when you find yourself in that situation. Many times we develop the plan with the child. But anyway, the plan is developed. Then what we say is, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you in situations where you're going to need to practice this. For example, I might interrupt you more often and tell you need to come. And I'm not going to tell you why. I'm just going to tell you need to come. You might feel anxious about that, but remember your plan. You're going to say to yourself, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So you're working your plan, whatever the plan is, and usually has multifaceted plans, not just a few words, but that plan you're going to implement. See, what we're doing then is we're moving a child into the arena of the heart over and over again into and we're using what I call intentional, controlled, stress-producing situations. So if a child can't swim, we want them to learn how to swim, or they're afraid of water, we don't throw them in the water, but we do move them a little closer to the water. We sit on the edge and kick our feet, or we blow bubbles in the water. We're doing things that are moving them closer and closer to success. And so when a child has a problem with anxiety, we want to help them to be able to move in a direction. So I've had a lot of success with children with anxiety issues, anxiety disorders, because we help them own the problem, help them move a little bit at a time out of their problem, find themselves in controlled, intentional, stress-producing situations that sometimes they put themselves in intentionally, or we help them with them, and then they find themselves successful, so they go back out. So one boy I was working with who had some anxiety, he said to his parents after a few weeks of working with him, after actually about 5 weeks of working with him, he said, my anxiety's gone. This boy had tremendous anxiety. Well, I don't think his anxiety is really gone. I think he'll have to continue to work on this. He'll be tempted with anxiety. But what has happened is we've increased his comfort zone more and more and more. And as we increase his comfort zone, then his ability to manage himself in those situations increased. He found hope. It's the whole Romans chapter 5 principle that says suffering produces perseverance, perseverance produces character, and character produces hope.